Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the By Any Greens Necessary show. I'm your host, Melvin Thompson. I'm the executive director of the Endeleo Institute. Endeleo is the Swahili word for progress, growth, and development. We are a member organization of the wonderful Trinity United Church of Christ on Chicago's far south side at 400 West 95th Street. We are so excited today to have a wonderful, wonderful guest. I will get to her in just a second. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but this is a wonderful, wonderful day. I wanted to go over some really quick business. If you've been following the Endeleo Institute, you know that we spearheaded the Carter G. Woodson Regional Library Project, and after 2 years, we're happy to say that we're ready to move forward. The city is about to start construction, and there is hiring involved. So we were successful in getting that done. We were also successful in helping to secure an African American general contractor, Ujama, and they are now looking for laborers, carpenters, masonry, and roofers for the majority of the exterior work. So if you are interested in working on this historic project at 95th and Halsted, you can call our number at our office at the TUCC Village Center at 773-966-1508. I wanted to make sure that we got that out. This is a live call-in show. You can call us, but if you want to talk to us about library business, call that number again, 773-966-1508. One of the tenets of the Endeleo Institute is strengthening existing assets. So we looked at the library a couple of years ago and we said this is probably one of the strongest community assets in the Washington Heights community. It's an anchor institution and it means so much to our community, and it was literally falling down. So we wanted to show the illustrative power of communities coming together to solve their own problems in partnership with the city and all the entities that came together. So we're very, very happy. The project is going to take roughly 9 to 12 months. It begins in September. The library will actually be closed in November for the duration of the project. So actually, your husband, Reverend Moss, was instrumental in advising the city to develop a communication strategy, because we have 25,000 patrons that frequent that library every month. And so it's going to be quite a culture shock once that library closes, because we have such a volume, and that's really a feeder library. Mm-hmm. So today I wanted to talk about, of course, our farmers market, our wonderful farmers market. We had yet another great week last week. We're averaging just over 200 people, and I wanted to introduce to you someone that is vital to our community, extremely vital to our church, none other than Monica B. Moss, the First Lady of our church, the wife of our Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III, and welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
So glad to see you.
This
so happy to be here with you.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Yes.
So, we got started probably 2 years ago when we did a cooking demonstration with you of how to, what was it, a healthy Thanksgiving? Yeah, healthy Thanksgiving dinner, which is, maybe an oxymoron in our community. How can you have a healthy Thanksgiving dinner? But you showed us. You want to talk a little bit about that and how that all evolved?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm very happy to be here with you and to talk about food and eating well and living well.
Yes.
And we did. We started a couple of years ago with this partnership with Endeleo, just to say, how can we get the message out to people that we can be healthy and we can live these vibrant, thriving lives where we have life and have it more abundantly.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe that at the heart of many of our health problems, it's just the food that we're eating. Not that food in and of itself is bad, but when we're eating processed foods, it's really causing all types of illnesses and diseases, and giving us dis-ease in our bodies that really can be avoided if we eat real food, real unprocessed, wholesome food.
Sure.
And so when we talked about, like, what can we do for a Thanksgiving meal that will be a twist on a traditional Thanksgiving meal where we load our bodies down with so much food that we can't move afterwards.
Right.
We're sick. People are going to the emergency rooms literally on Thanksgiving evening, and the next day, during that whole season of gluttony that starts with Labor Day, really, and goes all the way through the beginning of the year, when we make all these resolutions that we're going to be healthy and we're going to exercise and eat.
Sure.
So we said, what can we do to try to give people some new ideas about how they can eat healthy? So I put together a menu of recipes that were some traditionals, like a mock macaroni and cheese. Now, I don't believe in using fake foods.
Okay, right.
But it was just macaroni and cheese with some added ingredients, using more cauliflower than cheese. You know, things that maybe people wouldn't traditionally think of, but to make people think about how can I incorporate more vegetables and more whole, real food into my meal. So we had some great collard greens. We had some candied yams, cranberry sauce,
we did
macaroni and cheese, and people enjoyed it. And even if people didn't necessarily like all the flavors, it was just a fun process of getting in there together to have these different types of just different foods and using them in ways that normally people wouldn't think about it.
And what's wonderful about it is you're not telling folks that they can't eat the way they traditionally ate.
Right.
You're just introducing something new that's actually healthier in addition to, and if that takes, then you can start incorporating that into what you're normally eating, right?
Absolutely. So what we want people to do is, instead of always eating the same way they've always eaten, is to start to try new things, and especially to incorporate more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, berries, and different types of herbs for flavoring, and getting away from all the salt and all the fat and all the sugar, because that's what's making us unhealthy, and that's what's making us sick. And we can learn to change our palates. We can learn to say, I don't have to have meat in every single meal.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't have to. I can use meat as a garnish sometimes. Maybe I can forego eating meat for a few days in a row and just really eat the vegetables, because we reap so many benefits from doing that.
And it's interesting that you say that, because at the farmers market we have all black farmers. We have 6 black farmers from Pembroke, Illinois, and they frequently say, you know, they tell the customers that, you know, you can eat this and you can eat this, and you don't even eat meat.
You don't even eat meat.
Every one of them say that every week, that and you don't even eat meat.
Right. And we grew up, you know, I know we as a people, we love a traditional meal. We love soul food. We love food that feeds the soul.
Yes.
But those types of foods we know are not making us well. And so what the farmers are essentially saying is that we can make a meal out of vegetables. We can make a meal out of beans and greens and grains, and we can be healthy when doing that.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what we really do need to have a return to that, because if we don't, this is the first generation when our children are not as healthy as their parents. And so we see the trends that our children are obese. They're not active. Their grades are going down in school because they can't sit there and concentrate because they haven't had a meal. They've eaten sugar and loaded up on sugar all day long, so they cannot even think. So it's important that we get the message out, and that's one thing I love about what we're doing with the Endeleo Institute, as well as what we're doing at Trinity, is to get this message out there that there's a connection. It's a mind, body, spirit connection.
No question
between
about it.
The body, the soul, what we're eating, what we're thinking, what kind of spiritual life we have. And so it's so important. And it's on another level with the farmers market. And here we are at the farmers market. There's a picture that may come up.
Yeah, that's you on the left.
And that's me with the dashiki and the chef's cap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what we're doing in this picture.
Yeah, tell us about what you served a couple of weeks ago.
Right. So what we did was we had mocktails, melons, and summer corn.
Wow.
So we made all types of wonderful, delicious drinks using fresh fruits and fresh herbs. So the one that we have right there is a watermelon drink, and all it was carbonated water, fresh watermelon, fresh mint, and a little bit of agave nectar for sweetener. And then if you want to make it a little spicy, you can put in a splash of cayenne pepper, and people really enjoyed that. And these were all experiments. We didn't know how people were going to embrace them.
And they loved it.
And they loved it. And they loved it. And they were lined up and wanted more and more. And the other thing we did was we made a fresh summer squash. And it was just so simple, just fresh peppers, squash, onions, and saute it in a pan. A little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of coconut oil of all things. And it was just wonderful. So these are the types of things things that you can just introduce. The whole point is to avoid the processed foods.
Yes.
That's the thing. People say, well, should I be vegan? Should I be a vegetarian? It's not about being those things. It's about eating real food.
Yes.
Eat food that was not created in a lab. You want to eat things that come from the earth,
From
right?
the ground, yes,
right. You want to eat
exactly.
things that come from the ground,
Mhm.
and you want to eat animals. If you choose to eat meat, you want to eat healthy animals, and so
Mhm.
that gets expensive. So if it's a cost factor for people, just eat some good greens and beans and grains and nuts and seeds, and you can. There's so many wonderful recipes.
Now you're featured actually in the American Heart Association's book
Right.
of recipes. How did that come about?
Well, I have recently been named as what's called a power ambassador for the American Heart Association.
Okay.
That's a great opportunity to be able to spread the message about eating heart healthy and about spreading the word about how many of the heart illnesses, because women, African American women, it's devastating. That's
Yes.
our number one killer at this
Yes.
point.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure that we are treating our bodies well and feeding our bodies well, and the way we can, and moving our bodies. That's the other thing. We've got to get out. We've got to be active. We
It's a
got
combination.
It's a whole combination. It's a holistic lifestyle. So what they did was they just asked me to give my testimony, actually. And I'm a person who has had some significant health concerns over the years. And I realized that you can heal your body through what you eat. And it's not about being a certain size. It's not about, people think that if you don't eat meat, you should be this skinny little waif type person. I mean, if that works for you, then you do you. That's a great thing.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
But it's about it's about your holistic approach to life. So when I was faced with a cancer diagnosis, I realized, my goodness, I need to do something different. I think it was stress related.
Sure.
I think it was
Sure.
hormonally related. A lot of different factors. So what I've done for the last 10, 12 years is to try to incorporate just adding to my life to make my life a better life. So I want to eat better. I want to think better. I want to pray better. I want to have better relationships. It's
Sure.
a whole lifestyle.
Holistic thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And it's interesting that you say that because people who've come on the show talk a lot about environment.
Right.
And it's not just what you eat, but the stresses that you talked about of just everyday life. We're starting to get we've got as we have the Loden Homes public housing development next door to us, and you and the pastor came to the Father's Day event that we did with Real Men Cook, and it was an interesting day because we provided everything. We provided all the food and everything, and people were telling me, Melvin, I'd love to eat healthy, but it's not a priority. It's not up there on my list, and that's a shame that has to get put down here as opposed to maybe making it through every day, and we have to do something about that, and that's why the farmers market offers that double value coupon. So if you are a link card user, that you can double the value of what you're buying, and that's very, very important. And when they find that out, which we found, and that's one of the things about the nutrition education grant, that we get to provide that nutrition education about the things that are existing right in your community. Rev mentioned this Sunday that look for things in the desert. There are resources in the desert that you can call, and this is one of them. The farmers market is a place where you can get access. It's right across the street from you, and you can go there and eat better, improve your life, and improve outcomes. So.
And I love that analogy that right there in the desert, there are resources you may not even be able to see at first. But I mean, that farmers market is a huge resource. And not only, it's good food. You're supporting black farmers, you're getting great food.
Huge.
But it's the camaraderie, it's the fellowship. They're out there doing Zumba and double dutch.
Yoga. It was amazing.
40 and over women's double dutch. Club.
Absolutely.
Just people who are out there committed to this lifestyle, to saying, I'm going to do the best I can for myself. And I firmly believe that once there are a lot of things that people will see as prohibitive. They'll say, I don't have the time to cook. I don't have the money to cook. But I have learned over the last few years of teaching people how to cook and to cook on a budget. There are so many things that you can do to lower the cost factor.
Absolutely.
You can buy in bulk. You can buy dried beans. You can go to places that you would normally say, well, I don't like that type of grocery store. But there are places where you can find great bargains. I don't know if I can mention names on here, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Aldi's one of the best places in the world. They have a whole organic section. So there are so many things that you can do. And then same thing with the time component of cooking.
Sure.
You think about how when we were growing up, we would come home and our parents would have a crock pot, right?
Already,
and so you
exactly.
come in the afternoon, you got some turkey legs in there cooking already.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, there are things that we can do. We can cook ahead of time. We can do in batches. We can freeze. We can can. And those are the things that we're doing at Trinity, is trying to teach people those types of things.
And one of the interesting things you brought up is prepared foods. A couple of the farmers have had prepared greens already, and they fly right off the shelf. It's amazing, because the reality is people who even want to cook don't have the time. And so if someone can make a prepared meal that they can just go home and warm up, and it's healthy, that's a win-win.
It's a win-win, and that's what people want. I mean, we do need convenience. I get it. We live in a big city. We're busy. Traffic is always keeping us from getting places on time. We have to go to work, take care of our families, all of those things. But it's a prepared food by a farmer from a farmer's market is very different than prepared food that's full of salt, that's full of sugar.
Sitting in a can with
additives,
all those
preservatives,
juices. Yes.
Artificial ingredients. Those are the things that make us sick. And so that's, we just need to get that message out.
If you have a call, a question, you can call us at 312-738-1060. That's 312-738-1060. You've got a new title.
Yes.
At Trinity. Tell us about it, and what does that encompass?
All right, I'll tell you as much as I can tell you.
All right.
So we at Trinity, we have a thriving health and wellness ministry. So there are so many different components, from the medical end of things to the holistic approach to healing the body through what we eat, through exercise. So my husband gave me this new title, and it's called the Village Wellness Consultant.
Okay.
So basically what I'm doing is helping to coordinate some activities around health and wellness, around cooking demonstrations, around what types of classes we'll be teaching. And one of the things we're doing, one is through American Heart, we're going to be teaching hopefully at least 10 to 12 different classes this year on they're different modules, but anyone could join the class. You don't have to be a member of Trinity if you're interested in learning more about healthy eating and healthy living. So one is on sugars, another is on exercise, just being able to introduce people to information. The other thing that we do is that I'll be working closely with is Big Mama's House. And Big Mama's House is a wonderful ministry.
Major ministry.
Major.
Yes.
It's headed up by Mrs. Dorothy Riley. And so Big Mama's House is truly everything Grandma used to teach us, and we're not learning anymore. So we're quilting, we're sewing, we're canning, we're talking, we're cooking, we're talking, we're actually communicating with each other, and not to screens and telephones, and we're talking to one another. And then the last thing, which comes up on September 11th, I'm especially excited about.
Let's talk about that.
September 11th. Across the city on September 11th, different churches will be participating in the First Lady's Health Initiative. And this is an outreach program which has been underwritten by the Walgreens Corporation. It's in coordination with different churches across the city, literally over 50 churches. And we will on that day be providing health screenings in our churches. If you don't know, if your church is participating, just ask, and you'll be hearing announcements coming up. But the other thing that will happen is you'll see all over the city different yard signs talking about the First Lady's Health Initiative. And please don't think, if you see one of these signs and you're not a part of a church, don't think you can't just walk right in, because on that day, literally, lives will be saved, because people will walk in and be able to get testing for glucose and high blood pressure. They'll have screenings for HIV. They'll have screenings for hepatitis C, which is a silent killer. Did you know that?
Yeah. It's amazing. Yes.
So many people. If you were born between 1945 and 1968, you are at a higher risk for having been exposed to hepatitis C. And so
Did not
many
know
people
that.
don't even know it because many times the symptoms don't show up. So just go get tested because you can be cured from it.
Mhm.
And there are medications that can be taken to take care of that. So we will be doing, each church will be a little different. We'll have education topics where we'll have
Mhm.
speakers coming in to talk about mental health. We'll be talking about children's health, men's health.
Mhm.
All different types of things will be taking place on September 11th. So if you don't know, if you're not going to church on that day, go. Take a friend.
Yeah.
Bring someone with you so that you can reap the benefit of being able to get these free screenings. Flu
Sure.
shots will be given.
Sure.
All different types of things. And it's just a way to be able to help our congregations to be healthier. Because do you realize every single year when we do this, somebody comes into church and they do not know that their blood pressure is at stroke level.
Yeah.
People find out their HIV status and they're able to take better care of
Sure,
themselves and
sure.
make healthier choices for
Sure,
themselves.
sure. You know, we speaking of blood pressure, we had a blood pressure monitor at the farmers market about 2 weeks ago, and I asked the young lady who was doing the checks, you know, did everybody turn out okay? And she said, oh no, we had 2 red flags.
Right.
And that's amazing because
Yep.
you come to a farmer's market and you find out that you're in danger.
Right.
You're in danger. You're coming to eat healthy and buy healthy produce, and you find out that you're already in danger. So
Right.
it's amazing, and we can't emphasize enough the education
Yes.
and the awareness
Okay.
and the empowerment that comes from being informed.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. And that's what people need. You know, sometimes you think it's overkill because you think people already know certain things, but I don't think we can say it enough. I don't think people ever really get tired of learning the basics of cooking. Some people just never have had the opportunity to learn. No one has ever taught them.
Exactly.
But the awareness about education, about taking care of yourself, we only have one body.
That's
all
right.
right? And so we believe
That's
that,
right.
that our body is our temple. So we have to be able to be productive and be vibrant and alive. We want to be there to enjoy life.
Yes.
And so when we can do anything to make that process longer and sustaining in our lives, we need to do it. We need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves.
And it's funny that you say that because the church itself, we're taking care of our church ourselves.
Right.
You know, the Raise the Roof project is a renovation project that the congregation raised over $5 million
Right.
to do its own renovation and
Right.
not mortgage the future of the generations behind us,
Right.
you know, with a large bill.
Right.
And it's just amazing. I don't think that people actually realize, even within our own church, how significant that is. We're being entrepreneurial within our own realm, and
Right.
so it's amazing. So it's a holistic. Everything that we do creates that culture of health
Yes.
that the American Heart Association talks about, and so we're really excited. We're definitely going to support you and everything that we can do so that all of the dots get connected. And I'm
Yes.
so happy that you're going to be doing that because, as you mentioned, we have several ministries that are health related within the church, and you're seemingly connecting all of those.
Yeah, we want to just make some connections. And I think, to your point, I think that we have so many resources as a community, as a city, and now it's just time for us to utilize them. And when you were talking about how we came together to put the money into putting a new green roof on our church, I think the whole point is that together we can do so much. And that's what I think Endeleo is doing, is showing that when we work together and we cooperate with one another and work collaboratively, there's so many things that can come out of this. Because I love that analogy that there is a rose that can grow in the desert.
No question.
And so we want to be that rose. We want people to support our farmers market. We want some people, not just for us, but for yourselves. I mean, we're right there on 95th Street.
Absolutely.
Anybody can stop by on a Saturday morning and eat fresh, buy local, buy any greens necessary, and we can do all of that together. And it's fun, and it makes us all feel better because we want to be around for our great
For a long
grandkids,
time,
right?
and that's the thing. You know, we're living so much longer now.
Right.
The quality of that life, you know, we have the control, we have the power to control
Yes.
what that's going to look like. So we're at the midpoint of our season in the farmers market. Amazingly, we're 6 weeks in. We've got 6 more weeks, and so we urge you, if you're coming down, come down on Saturday. We're at 95th and Normal from between 8 o'clock and 1 p.m. every Saturday, right there at the corner. You can't miss us. we are out there waving, and I think we got Zumba, and we've got another cooking demonstration. I think George is going to do his world famous black eyed peas.
Yeah, the black eyed peas.
Black eyed peas with apples in them,
it's so good.
Trust us, it's delicious.
It's like
so,
Mississippi caviar.
Mississippi caviar, absolutely. So,
yes.
So definitely stay tuned for that. Just want to thank you for coming down. You think you can get your husband?
I think we can probably get him over here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because I know his schedule is tight, but I'm looking for him to kind of wrap this up as we go into the fall, because the last thing we want to do is have everybody eating healthy, and then when October and November gets here, everyone kind of falls back into what they used to do. So we'll be interested in working with you throughout the fall, of course, doing Thanksgiving again, and leading up to the next market next year. So this is going to be a great partnership. I'm excited about it, and if you're excited about it, please come and visit us anytime. And just thank you for tuning in for By Any Greens Necessary, and we will see you again next week at this very same time. So thank you and good night.
Bye-bye.